Coming up on This Week in Plymouth, a new message from the town manager, Pease Public Library prepares to start some minor renovations, and information for the upcoming town elections and meetings. I'm Dan Salzer, and welcome to This Week in Plymouth. At the last Select Board meeting held on February 26th, the board held a public hearing regarding the Highland Street roadway project.
We're having a public hearing for the purpose of taking public comment for the upcoming Highland Street roadway project. This is the second hearing to allow the public to present concerns, ask any questions related to the redesign, reconstruction, and improvement of the area between Old Ward Bridge Road to Broadway Street along Highland Street.
Josh McAllister with HEB Engineers. Here with me is Aaron Lamar. He's the design engineer on this project for us. So it's a general overview of why we're here. We are going to talk about the project. We're going to talk about what we've been analyzing. We are in the middle of the engineering study phase for this project. So we're reviewing alternatives, looking at what the town would like to see along Highland Street, and looking at all the alternatives for this project. And so
my name is Elizabeth Taylor, Plymouth resident and facilities manager for the high school. My guess in talking with some of the other people at the school is we need a crossing guard there.
Mitchell Hoare. We are one of the properties that is abutting the two roads that you're going to likely have to acquire some of the property for. Myself and the fellow people I own this property with, we're very excited to see the renovation done. We own the property. We've been there before. Crazy during traffic hour. So very excited to see the change.
After approving several purchase orders, the board also reviewed the 23-24 current budget in order to reallocate funds for the new facilities manager.
Review and approve reallocation of funds within the 23-24 budget to adequately and appropriately fund the new position of facilities manager.
So when we put the budget last year together for the current year that we're in, we anticipated that the new facilities manager position would be filled as a replacement for the recycling center manager. However, we have now, and he has accepted the position of facilities manager. So in order to appropriately budget for this position, I'm asking for a reallocation, specific budget lines, and I think you all have that list, where we're getting the money for. It's a total for the remainder of this year, about $48,094 is what we're asking to be reallocated from recycling and cemetery, and there'll be brand new lines put in the general government facilities budget, because we didn't have any people in there before, so I need to put some money in there for that. But once the budget for 24-25 passes, we'll come back to the board and say we'd like to move this money to these these lines as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion to reallocate budget line items currently budgeted in the 23-24 budget within the recycling center and cemetery budgets to new budget lines being created for the position of facilities manager. These new lines to be located within the general government buildings budget. Total allocation for the position from the recycling center and cemetery budgets to the general government buildings budget will be $48,094.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This past Monday, the elementary school board held a regular meeting and its annual district meeting. There were 6 articles voted on this year by the public. All 6 passed without any comment. On Tuesday night, the Pemmy-Baker Regional School Board met at the high school. During the meeting, the robotics team presented how they did at the state tournament and what is needed to build and compete in robotics competitions.
The school board approved the robotics competition, and I've asked that club and group to come back. They're under the direction of Beverly Tedeschi, who's been leading this for the past couple of years, and the kids had a wonderful time. And at this time, I would like them to present for you.
So this is our robot that we started. So as you can see, we started with just a drivetrain, and throughout the competitions, we've added to it, and it's changed a lot. So we spent a lot of time thinking about it and working on ways to make it better for us to do better at the competitions.
This is mostly from states, so they got everything all lit up to look fancy. And so me and Xander were on the A team. We got second place in states this year. And I believe the B team got into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, no, B team didn't make it into the tournament of 16.
Oh, C team made it
We made it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we did. C team made it to the quarters.
It was a pretty successful year, I'd say.
So we've made it to the final in the tournament twice, once in Belmont and then at the state competition. We very narrowly lost in both of them. We're proud of how far we've come.
That same night, the zoning board met, where they had a discussion for a special exemption request from David Clay for a lumberyard use in the agricultural zone.
We have an application for a special exception for 227 Cummins Hill Road. Application is from David Clay for a special exception in accordance with the zoning ordinance under section 304 to establish a lumberyard use in the agricultural zoning district. Before you start, I want to explain something. Currently, we expected 5 people to be here. We got a message the fellow was coming. He isn't here. Now we can hold off for a bit. You're entitled to have a full board.
Okay.
And we only have 4 of us here.
Okay.
So we can either wait a little while or we can go forward. If we go forward,
Let's go forward.
you want to go forward,
Yeah.
okay? Let the minutes reflect that the proponent wants to go forward with the 4.
So I have a sawmill up there. It's currently being used when I can. And so I understand in the special exemption that a lumberyard special exemption is production of lumber. And all I'm doing up there is running the sawmill, and all I'm producing is boards and beams, and I'm wholesaling it. It's going to a local lumberyard, and that's all we're doing up there.
This was received on March 4th, 2024. And this letter comes from Spencer and Kimberly Benoit. My wife and I would like to thank the town of Plymouth for their attention to this matter, as well as their efforts to come to a meaningful resolution with the sawmill at 227 Cummings Hill Road. We would also like to thank David Clay and his family for their assistance in getting us through this winter by keeping our driveway clear of snow, which was a task we were woefully unprepared for. Our family looks forward to building ties and living peacefully within this community. We have a few concerns regarding the proposed zoning exemption that we would appreciate being taken into consideration. The first is adherence to the proposed operating schedule in the application. There has been a history of the sawmill operating outside of specific hours on specific days agreed upon with the town. We are concerned that this zoning exemption would allow for the continued disregard and agreed upon limitations. Furthermore, we are concerned that there will be little in the way of recourse or accountability for these such instances should they continue if an exemption is granted. We are also concerned that the noise hazard to our about the noise hazard to our property.
Because it's been operated in the past, doesn't give it a grandfathering situation here, because it wasn't operated in accordance with the statute. And there's no forgiveness in that. It's starting from scratch now. I think, as you do, Tom, that the planning board's got to be involved in terms of the siting of the building and the impact on the land.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we deny the application.
Second.
And the motion's been made and seconded that we deny the application. All in favor of the motion as made, raise your hand. It's unanimous that the application be denied.
It's now time for sports. The Bobcats wrapped up the winter's season over the last couple of weeks. Congratulations to the PRHS girls Nordic ski team who captured the 2024 NHIAA State Championship, and the boys coming in second. The boys basketball team dropped a close battle in the first round of the NHIAA Division II State Tournament at Sanborn 37-31. Congratulations to the team on a fantastic season. The 6th-seeded Kearsarge Plymouth Cats hockey team pulled off an upset in the quarterfinals last weekend over 3rd-seeded Belmont Guilford on the road 4-3 in overtime. The win advanced the Cats to the semifinals that took place this past Wednesday at the Plymouth State Ice Arena, where the Cats saw their season come to an end after dropping a 5-0 decision to second-seeded Pembroke Campbell. Congratulations, Cats. After capturing its 5th straight MASCAC title, the Panthers look to capture its elusive first NCAA tournament win. If you can't attend in person, you can watch the game live right here on Channel 1302 starting at 6:45 p.m. on Saturday, March 9th. Moving on to this week's announcements, Town Manager Scott Whedon has released a new message from the Town Manager for the month of March. The message is available on the Town website. Whedon details in the report the importance of the Town budget and talked about the potential tax rate decrease if the new budget is passed at this year's Town meeting. Please visit the Town website, plymouthnh.gov, to read the full report. Speaking of Town meeting, a reminder that next week is voting week for the Town and Town meeting. Voting will take place on Tuesday, March 12th from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the gymnasium at the elementary school, where you'll vote for Town board positions and elected officials, as well as the zoning amendments. Town meeting will take place the following night on Wednesday the 13th, also inside the gymnasium at the elementary school. Start time for that is at 7 p.m., while we vote on the budget and other warrant articles. To stay fully informed on the budget season and who to vote for, visit the Town website, plymouthnh.gov, and click on Budget Information to find all the details you need for this year's budget season. With painting complete this week, Pease Public Library will be conducting renovations in the children's room from March 18th to the 24th, during which the room will be closed. The room will also receive new carpeting throughout the children's room. The Town of Plymouth is looking for this year's Boston Post Cane recipient, given in recognition to the oldest resident in town. If you know someone in town who is eligible for this award, please email finance@plymouthnh.gov or contact Anna Bear with appropriate information. More details can be found on the Town website. Due to the warming weather and lack of snow, the Recreation Department was forced to cancel the sledding and hot cocoa event that was scheduled to be held on February 28th during school break. The department, however, did announce a new adult trip to the Encore Boston Harbor Casino and Assembly Row shopping on Friday, March 28th. Registration is required, so be sure to head over to the Recreation Department website to reserve your spot today. Pease Public Library will be hosting PSU Professor Mark T. Sylvester to talk about the solar eclipses and also answer any questions you might have about them. Attendees will receive a pair of eclipse sunglasses, so be sure to head over on March 12th at 6 p.m. The library will also have a mesh embroidery session on March 18th at 6 p.m. for high schoolers and adults. Pre-registration is required, so save your spot today. Plymouth Regional High School will be having 2 delays, first on March 13th and the second on March 28th, both for teacher in service. PRHS Performing Arts presents Anastasia the Musical on March 14th through the 16th and will take place in the auditorium at the high school. Tickets are on sale for $5. The shows will take place on Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. with a matinee on Saturday at 2 p.m. If you have any news stories you think we should cover, or if you're looking to create your own show, contact us here at the station with the information on your screen. For our executive producer, Jonathan Picard, I'm Dan Salzer. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another episode of This Week in Plymouth.